Without you and Queen Iduna, Elsa and Anna wouldn't be who they are today. But we'd be lying if we said we weren't curious about you and Iduna's past, and what happened after the fog barrier went up. We know that Iduna risked everything to save you, and that the spirits rewarded her by giving her a magical daughter. But we want to know so much more. How did you guys fall in love? How did you react when Iduna told you the truth about her heritage? And be honest, Agnar, did you know about what your father was planning to do? We have so many questions about the former king and queen of Arendelle, but unlike Elsa, we can't dive into the river full of memory and uncover the truth about the past. Agnar and Iduna totally deserve their own movie, and we're about to tell you why. So stay tuned.
Once stood an enchanted forest. It was a magical place, but something went wrong. Since then, no one can get in or out.
If there's one thing we know for sure, it's that Elsa and Anna's father was a super nice guy. Sure, Agnar's father was pretty evil, but his wicked ways managed to skip a generation. Agnar had no idea about his father's double-crossing ways. This is made obvious by how shocked he was when the fight between the Arendelle soldiers and the Northuldra tribe broke out. If it hadn't been for Iduna's sacrifice, Agnar would never have made it out of the forest alive. Agnar was an only child, and his mother wasn't in the picture. So on the night that his father betrayed the tribe and was pushed off a cliff, Agnar took over as the king of Arendelle. Agnar's father was terrified of magic, whereas Agnar was intrigued by it. When he saw Iduna floating around with Gale, the wind spirit, he couldn't believe his eyes. He was drawn to Iduna and the people of the enchanted forest. But his outlook changed when Elsa's ice powers almost cost him Anna and Frozen. Instead of consoling Elsa, who was clearly terrified, Agnar rushed to Anna's side and asked Elsa, "What have you done?" And that's when the panic settled in. He told Elsa that her powers were getting out of hand. Agnar couldn't understand Elsa's abilities, and people fear what they don't understand. That's what led him to teach Elsa to conceal, don't feel, which wasn't exactly the best advice. Over time, Agnar began to resent Elsa's powers, causing Elsa to see them as a curse and not a gift.
What's going on?
I think I woke the magical spirits of the enchanted forest.
Okay, that's definitely not what I thought you were going to say.
Queen Iduna grew up in the enchanted forest, so she knew better than anyone that magic was a beautiful thing. She was friends with the spirits and immediately took a liking to Agnar, who was of similar age as her. When the fight broke loose, Iduna didn't hesitate to save Agnar. She left her family behind and escaped with nothing but the scarf on her back, literally. Later in life, she would coddle the scarf whenever the going got rough, and eventually, she passed it down to her daughters. If it hadn't been for this scarf, Yelena would never have accepted Anna and Elsa with open arms. According to Yelena, the scarf belonged to one of the oldest families of the Northuldra tribe, but this is virtually the only thing we know about Iduna's past. So, we're left wondering if she has any living relatives of her own. We'd love to know if Iduna belonged to a royal family, or anything else for a matter of fact. One of the many reasons why Iduna and Agnar need their own movie has everything to do with their love story, and the big question mark that surrounds it. In Frozen 2, we see a short scene of Iduna and Agnar meeting for the first time. Agnar is reading under a tree, and Iduna surprises him, asking him what he's reading. But besides this small snippet, we don't really know anything about how these two fell in love. Iduna would go on to become the Queen of Arendelle, and somewhere down the line, she chose to tell Agnar about her heritage. She confesses to being the one who saved him. But did this happen before or after they got married? And how did Agnar react? We want answers, Disney. Agnar and Iduna's story ends in a very tragic way, and in Frozen 2, we finally find out the truth about their whereabouts. Iduna and Agnar were journeying across the Dark Sea to Antahalin. They wanted to find out the origins of Elsa's powers, since they were growing every day and Elsa was suffering in solitude. Before Elsa accidentally froze Anna's head, she was allowed to use her powers at will, and she was happy. It must have been super hard for Agnar and Iduna to see Elsa grow ashamed of her powers, especially since they couldn't do anything to help her. Agnar and Iduna wanted to give their daughter her life back, so they took a major risk. But it wasn't only about Elsa. Iduna and Agnar also wanted to bring down the fog and rescue the people who were trapped in the enchanted forest. And Iduna must have been desperate to reconnect with her family and all the people she left behind. Unfortunately, Iduna and Agnar would never reach Antahalin or find the answers they were looking for. Disney fans are curious to find out about Agnar and Iduna's last voyage, but most importantly, they're interested in uncovering the truth about their pasts. So much was left to the imagination. Every single scene that involved Elsa and Anna's parents was super entertaining and intriguing. They totally deserve their own movie. Why do you think Iduna risked everything to save a boy she didn't even know? If you love all things Disney, subscribe to The Things. We post weekly theory videos about your favorite Disney princesses, so click that bell and turn on those notifications. If you're watching on your phone, turn on notifications in your YouTube settings so you never miss another video. And that's a wrap on why Anna and Elsa's parents deserve their own movie. Which other Disney parents are you interested in hearing about? Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. We'll catch you next time on The Things.